Michael Bisping was spotted doing light sparring at Chito Vera's new gym. And he wasn't alone. Former rival Luke Rockhold was right there with him, watching, coaching, and even exchanging some positive words online. Bisping posted the clip on Instagram, noting how good it felt to feel alive again inside the gym. Rockhold responded with a comment calling Bisping a warrior, a far cry from the intense beef these two shared during their UFC primes. Later, Rockhold posted a video calling Bisping his secret weapon. Bisping replied with a heartfelt thank you. The footage shows Bisping giving pointers, encouraging fighters, and even cracking jokes with Chito. While it's clear Bisping isn't planning a comeback, fans loved seeing this crossover moment, especially considering the brutal history between Bisping and Rockhold. If anything, it's a sign of growth and respect. Two former champs who used to hate each other, now trading tips and punches in a laid-back gym setting. Sometimes MMA gives you these weird, feel-good full-circle moments, and this was definitely one of them. Ilia Topuria isn't holding back. Fresh off his title win, he's been calling out everyone at lightweight, specifically Islam Makhachev and Charles Oliveira, and recently claimed they're afraid to fight him. But Daniel Cormier isn't buying it. On his YouTube channel, DC clapped back, saying there's no way Islam is scared, not now and not ever. Cormier emphasized that fear isn't even in the equation for guys like Islam, Charles, Gaethje, or Chandler. According to DC, these are elite fighters with a clear path to their goals. And Topuria, despite his hype, isn't a part of those plans just yet. He pointed out that Islam doesn't see value in fighting someone who just came up from 145, while Charles is focused on reclaiming gold. DC did give Ilia credit though, admitting that a fight with Topuria might be the biggest possible matchup right now for the division, in terms of attention and hype. But scared? No chance. It's not personal, it's business. And in this business, timing is everything. DC made it clear, nobody is ducking Ilia, but they might not be lining up for him just yet either. Johnny Walker dropped some underrated wisdom during a recent interview, saying that if you're always the top dog in your gym, you're probably not improving. According to Walker, pressure makes diamonds. But too many fighters stay in comfort zones, sparring partners they dominate, and familiar routines. That kind of training breeds complacency, not evolution. Walker stressed that real growth comes from getting pushed to your limits, getting outclassed in sparring, learning from mistakes, and being forced to adapt. He even joked that if you're not getting tapped or dropped occasionally, you might be in the wrong gym entirely. The point is simple. Iron sharpens iron. You need adversity in training to prepare for real fights, and ego has no place if you're serious about improvement. His comments struck a chord with fans and fellow fighters alike, because behind the flashy persona, Walker made a valid, rarely said point. A fighter who chases comfort is a fighter who stays stagnant. This is exactly the mindset that separates contenders from placeholders. Whether you love Johnny's antics or not, this was a powerful message that more fighters and coaches should be echoing. Renato Moicano is high on Gilbert Burns going into UFC 315, and he's not afraid to say it. Burns is scheduled to face Michael Morales in what many see as a tough matchup for the veteran. But Moicano thinks people are sleeping on Durinho again. In a recent podcast, Moicano broke down Burns' resume, facing Khamzat Chimaev in a war, fighting through injury against top contenders, and constantly taking on anyone, anytime. He called Burns one of the most underrated killers in the welterweight division, and said he's seriously considering betting on him as an underdog. In fact, Burns is already listed as a plus 300 dog on most sportsbooks. Moicano joked that while he won't officially place a bet, he might send a few DMs about it on the side. His praise came with some playful trash talk too, especially when it came to Morales' wrestling credentials. Moicano questioned the idea of elite Ecuadorian wrestling, calling it a myth. That comment sparked laughs, but the core message was clear. Burns is battle-tested, dangerous, and more than capable of pulling off a big upset. This could be one of those moments where public perception is way off, and Moicano might be onto something. At UFC London weigh-ins, fans were shocked to see Paddy Pimblett and Topuria, two guys with real beef, fist bump on stage. But according to Paddy, it wasn't some peace treaty. On his YouTube channel, he explained that the moment was more spontaneous than symbolic. Apparently, Topuria gave him a little salute from across the stage, and when Paddy walked over, they both laughed and went for the bump out of nowhere. He said it was more of a mutual smirk than a truce. This comes just days after Ilya claimed that Islam and Charles are avoiding him, turning up the temperature at lightweight. So, while fans were hoping this meant a future fight, or at least a storyline, it seems like it was just one of those weird, respectful moments that sometimes happen even between rivals. Paddy didn't downplay their history, but said he thought the moment was funny and didn't want to escalate anything at the weigh-ins. In typical Pimblett fashion, he wrapped it up with a grin and moved on. But fans are still wondering, was this just a random bump? Or the first crack in a beef that might be headed toward resolution? Or a fight? Middleweight champ Dricus Du Plessis had time this week, and he used it to clap back hard at Sean Strickland. This all started when Strickland, speaking to Sport24, openly said he hopes Dricus loses the belt. His exact words: "I'll be very happy if Dricus loses his belt. Maybe it's stupid to say, but he just seems lucky." Strickland also hyped up Chimaev as the guy to dethrone Dricus. That didn't sit well with the champ. Dricus reposted the interview clip with a savage line: "My man, you got one eye on the ceiling and the other on the TV. You not seeing the same DDP as the rest of us." He then doubled down on X, saying, "Somebody get my guy some eye drops." The jabs kept coming, with Du Plessis roasting Strickland's past injuries and finishing with, "If we lived in a world where it's eye for an eye, Sean would be king." The internet exploded. Fans jumped in, some defending Sean, others praising Dricus for the clapback. One user joked, "Strickland's tears flowing down in zigzag lines." Dricus responded, "You mean tear?" and capped it off with, "I'm out, see you in a week or so. Hashtag blind leading the blind." This one's heating up fast, and it feels personal now.